Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of PHT TV. Today we're going to cover some in-ceiling speakers. We've seen a ton of questions on what should I buy for my Atmos setup? What should I use as my whole home audio in-ceiling setup? So we thought we'd cover two of our most popular units here. Here we have the CDT-5800-C and the Pro-180 RPC. We're going to take these guys out of the box, set them side by side, show you some of the differences. I'm also going to install them into a spare sheet of drywall so you can kind of see how they install and how easy it is to install these units as well. So let's get these guys out of the box. I'm actually going to cover the CDT-5800-C first. And the first thing that you're going to see when you pull these out of the box is going to be the template. This makes it super easy to install. All you have to do is hold this up on your ceiling, trace a line around it, and then cut out that line and you're good to go. So I'm going to set that off to the side for now. Next, we're going to see our CDT Architectural Speakers Owner's Manual. And this is going to go over all the options that are available here. And it also goes over the speaker installation. So I'm going to set this instruction manual off to the side here. Next, you're going to want to pull off the grill. So here we have our grill for our CDT-5800-C2. It is a magnetic grill, so once you put it on the ceiling, you just go and you're good to go. I'm going to toss the grill off to the side as well. And let's get to our main unit here. All right, and here we have our CDT-5800-C2. For those of you not familiar with what CDT stands for, it stands for Controlled Disbursement Technology. Basically what this allows you to do is once it's installed, you can actually grab the woofer and tilt it towards you or away from you or whichever direction you need to. And then the tweeter will actually rotate and aim as well. So you can kind of aim where the speaker is going even though it's stationary in the ceiling. So that is the CDT-5800-C2. Here's your network on the back. Here is your push button connectors. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side and we're going to pull out the Pro-180 RPC and then we're going to put them side by side and we're actually going to install them as well and see how easy they are to install. All right, and here we have a mini manual. It's our architectural safety instructions. Toss that off to the side there. Then we have our larger owner's manual. This covers the Pro-160 RPC, Pro-180 RPC, Pro-180 RPC LCR, Pro-160 RPW, 180 RPW, and Pro-250 RPW LCR. This is essentially going over the templates. It's showing you how to cut them out. It's showing you how to cut them. It's showing you how to install them. It's showing you how you install the bracket first. Basically all about installing the speaker in the owner's manual here. Here we have more warranty information. Here is our cutout template. They are actually the same cutout templates, so you can see they are the same size for the 180 RPC and the CDT-5800-C2. Let's set that off to the side. Next, I love the inclusion of this. Basically what this is it is a magnetic cover for the speaker, and it allows you to paint around the speaker without painting the speaker itself. I'll come back to this here in just a moment. Next, one really cool thing about the Pro-180 RPC is that they include both square and circular grills to fit whatever style needs you have. And finally, here we have the Pro-180 RPC. Now, one thing you'll notice about this that's a little bit different is that the speaker itself comes apart from the mounting bracket. So you can actually use the mounting bracket. You cut out your hole, install the mounting bracket first, then you install the speaker into the mounting bracket. It makes the installation go a little bit smoother, a little bit easier, and I think that makes it a lot better. So you're not up on a ladder, potentially dropping speakers on your head. I like that option there as well. But more on that installation later. The other thing that I was telling you about earlier was this paint cover. Basically what this does is it pops right over the top of your speakers. You can see it magnetically grabs onto there. So when these are in the ceiling, you can paint around them, paint over the top of them, and it will not harm the speakers. So they include that in every batch. And it makes painting and cleaning up a lot easier. I'm gonna set our magnetic piece off to the side here. I'm gonna set our 2 grills off to the side here. And let's get the speakers together so you can see them side by side. Here is the CDT-5800-C next to the Pro-180 RPC. Here's the CDT-5800-C on the left next to the Pro-180 RPC. A bit of a different angle here. And let's flip them over as well. And here is the rear of the units. So there they are side by side. We're gonna get to installation here in just a moment, but I did want to go over a couple of quick items. First off, the IK800C is available, so that is the new construction pre-construction brackets. Additionally, fireboxes are available as well if your code does require it. Those are the ME800Cs. Now, before we get into the installation of these 2 units and show you how they install side by side, let's talk about the differences of the units themselves. So first off, the CDT-5800-C gives you the ability to tilt the woofer and aim the tweeter. So if you're in a situation where you need to aim your speaker, or if you can't get it exactly where you want it and you need to make some alterations, the CDT might be your guy. The Pro-180 RPC though comes with easier installation. It has a round and a square grill that it comes with, and overall it has a much smoother top end and tends to blend a little bit better with the RP line. So I tend to lean more towards the Pro-180 RPC over the CDT, but again, if you're in a situation where the CDT is needed, it is a great speaker as well. All right, now let's get on to the installation portion and show you how these guys look going into the drywall, how they look going into your ceilings. I'm gonna try and get an angle to where we can show you the top and the bottom so you can kind of see what's happening from the front and the back. All right, so as far as materials go, you'll want something to cut the drywall with. This is gonna be a RotoZip, a little bit faster results, so I go towards this, but you can pick up a drywall cutout tool for about 10 bucks at your local hardware store. You will need your templates. You will need a writing device. I'm using a marker so that you guys can see it better on camera, but I usually recommend probably just a standard pencil or a shop pencil or something to that effect. First thing you want to do is draw your lines. So you want to trace. So there we have our templates. They are interchangeable, but this one is the one that came with the CDT. This is the one that came with the Pro-180. Now that we have our templates drawn, we will want to cut out, and I don't want to cut through my table, so move that into the middle there. And one note that I will mention here as well, if you are doing this above your head, you'll probably want to use a mask or stay off to the side or wear some goggles because drywall dust sucks. So anyways, let's get to this other hole here. All right, so let's start with the CDT-5800-C. I built a little area to raise it up so you guys can kind of see the bottom as well as the top. So for the CDTs, basically what's gonna happen is you're gonna put your screwdriver or drill in there and you are gonna rotate. You have that unit, it's gonna rotate, and then as you tighten it, it grips down on the drywall and plants the drywall in between there. So you want to figure out with the CDT, you want to make sure that you see these hinges here. You want to make sure that those are aimed in the direction you're going to want to. Want it to tilt if you want to tilt. So if we want to tilt that direction and this direction, we would install this direction. And you set them on top there. Well, what's going to happen is then you drill these. Grabs. And there you have it. So then we have the CDT-5800-C2 installed. Next we have our Pro-180 RPC. Now with the Pro-180 RPC, you have your separate installation bracket for your Pro-180 RPC. So you're gonna set this in the hole, but before I do, one thing that I wanna show you is how cool these are. They're spring loaded, so they turn like that and then grip the back of the drywall. So when you install, flip that around. And you are installed on your bracket there. So now with that bracket installed, the next step would be to run your line. You can run your speaker wire through that hole, connect it on the outside, then just set the speaker in there, turn it to lock, and then tighten down these screws. Now, final details, as I was telling you about, here is the paint cover again, so you can see how it would function if it were in the ceiling. You pop that over and you could paint over the top of the Pro-180 RPC without having to worry about painting your speakers. Here is the grill for the CDT-5800-C2. Here's the grill for the Pro-180 RPC. So they do have a little bit different of a grill. You can see that there is a bezel around the CDT-5800-C2. There's no bezel around the Pro-180 RPC. And the Pro-180 RPC, as we were saying as well before, we do also have the option of the square grill. I'm gonna leave the grills on while I flip this over here. Let's take a look at the back side. Now, if I get at this level, so now this is how they would look if they were in your ceiling. You can tell that the Pro-180 RPC is actually a little bit shallower, probably like a ½ inch to an inch maybe. Most cases it's not gonna make that big of a difference, but in some it might. And here they look, here's what they look like from the top. All right, I'm gonna flip this back over. All right, I got them flipped back over. I have one more note to mention. When we talked about painting earlier, these grills are both paintable. Basically, you want to do a thin layer of spray paint over the top of them. And one thing that you will need to note though, is that each of these grills has a thin layer of acoustically transparent material here. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to take that off prior to painting. Otherwise, paint will get caught up in there and you will have some problems. All right, that's gonna be about all we have for you today. This has been the CDT-5800-C2 and the Pro-180 RPC unboxing, installation, and compare. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below and we would be happy to help. Otherwise, we'll see you again next week for another episode of PHT TV. Hey guys, welcome back to PHT TV. Hey guys, welcome to... Happy smiling. As for the 180 RPC, so the CDT-5800, so before we get into any of those, blah. All right, and as one final note,